Lord Krishna. So that's what we had started with a couple of weeks ago. And it's a very beautiful session. And Sindhu Mathaji, in fact, she specialized in it. So I don't think we have any other preacher has done this apart from Sindhu Mathaji. So we'll continue that. And for some part of it, yes, because given that this is a continuation of the previous one, so we might have missed some of this, but then yes. So with the examples and then making sure that Mathaji covers over other qualities also. So you would hear complete all the qualities of Lord Krishna along with it. So with that, let's welcome Sindhu, give Sindhu Mathaji a warm welcome, and let's start the session. Hare Krishna Mathaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna dear devotees. Many other devotees or greater acharyas and Mathajis have actually done it in different languages. But I have tried to collect as much of information from all of them, which is apt, and put it together for all of us. In Kannada, at least in Bangalore, nobody has done it. But in other places, in Dwaraka, in Pune, people have done this, but they've not done it for the full extent. There's only one Mathaji who's done it to the full extent. And it is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami has actually explained it, the different qualities of Krishna, right? Krishna has 64 qualities. It is not that he has 64 qualities. Krishna has innumerable qualities. Out of that, Rupa Goswami has picked up 64 for us to relish. And that is what I'm trying to cover here. There are different, okay. Krishna has 64 qualities. Srimati Radharani has 25 qualities. The Bhakta Vrinda has 36 qualities. I'm yet to collect the data on the rest of the others, but first we'll see Krishna's qualities. Okay, and I'll try to refresh whatever we did last time. That way the new devotees can also quickly follow through what we are trying to go through here. Prabhu, my screen is visible. Okay. So first quality of Krishna that we saw last time is Suramyanga. Suramyanga means he is very, very good looking. He is very pleasing to look at, and he is very good looking. And every quality that we look, how the class goes is, every quality that we look at Krishna, we'll start giving evidence of the incidents when the quality of Krishna was narrated by somebody, or an instance where it was narrated. Here, the first quality is Suramyanga. The 16,108 women who were actually held as hostages by Narakasura, when Krishna actually takes care of that, those women actually compliment Krishna. They compliment it in a very different way. They say, we are very sorry because we thought you were, whenever we looked at the Chandrama from our jail or from Narakasura had kept us, we always looked at the moon and we thought Krishna may be like this to look. But today when we saw you in reality, Krishna, you are nowhere in comparison to the moon. Our moon is nowhere in comparison to you, Krishna, because you're much more good. That is what they say. Also, Surpanaka, when she goes and describes Krishna or Lord Rama to her brother, right? She says he is very good looking. And when her brother also looks at Rama, said that he at one point fell in love with Lord Rama because Rama was so good looking. Also, there is an example of Bhishma Dev in the war field, right? When Bhishma Dev looks at Krishna charging at him, Krishna looks so beautiful, even with all the mud and everything in the battle, right? Others were looking very tired and everything, with the sweat and with the mud on all over his face. When the air blew, when the other horses were just going through, Krishna's hair flew back, curly, thick hair. And then his armor, many arrows were fallen on him. And through those arrows, blood was actually oozing out. To look at Krishna, it was very beautiful. That is the end part where Bhishma is about to give up his body. He starts remembering Krishna. When Krishna came charging at him, how beautiful Krishna was looking at. Also, the gopis, when they go to the forest, or when Krishna is going to the forest, or when he is returning, they describe how good looking he is. And then we also discussed as Sarva Sulalikshitneta. That means if you look at somebody's astrology chart, right, you'll see one or two qualities or one or two placement of the stars in a very good place. But it is said that Krishna has all 32 auspiciousness. There can be only 32 maximum goodness in one astrology, like, Chandra is placed in a good position, or Guru is placed in. But for Krishna, all 32 are placed in a good position. We also described how the pada of Krishna has all these symbols. Each of these symbol, if you meditate upon it, it takes away one anartha or inauspiciousness in our lives. I'm yet to find out the description of it. Once I find it, I think Raju Prabhu had sent it some time ago. I'll try to find that and send it in the group. That is the soul of Krishna. So we describe many, and how Krishna has 24.5 moon, right? In his body, you can find out that he has 24.5 moon, right? That also we discussed. Ruchira, Krishna is very, very good looking again. The first one was very pleasing. His personality is very pleasing. The third one is that he is very good looking, right? His character. Sometimes when people are good looking, when you approach them, you feel that you cannot talk to them. They're very difficult to handle, or they're very difficult. But Krishna is not like that. Wherever he goes, he spreads happiness and bliss. It is like a hot summer day, very hot summer day. In India, we don't find that summer. I used to think Bangalore is very hot and summer is very hot in Bangalore. Now I'm in Texas. The temperature goes up all the way to 112 degrees. Now I know what summer is, right? It's extremely hot, right? On those summer days, when you have some rain coming, or when you see the moon in the night, that is very pleasing. And that is the feeling you get looking at Krishna. Gopis, when they are in that viraha bhav, when they are in that separation with Krishna, just thinking of Krishna or seeing Krishna give them that happiness, it is said, okay? Kunti Devi in her prayer talks about Krishna's beauty. Namo Pankajanabhaya, Namo Pankajamalini, Namo Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangri. Pankaja means it is a lotus flower, right? One second, let me just close the WhatsApp. So Namo Pankaja Nabhaya means he has a nabhi which is exactly like Pankaja flower or a lotus flower, right? It is like a lotus flower. Namo Pankaja Maline, Namo Pankaja Netraya means his eyes, one eyes of Krishna, if you see, it is like a lotus petal. The shape of it is like a lotus petal. And then he is wearing the lotus flowers garland. And his both legs of Krishna is like a lotus feet. We always say we surrender into the lotus feet of Krishna, right? That is a lotus feet of Krishna. She describes how beautiful he is when Krishna is about to leave. He's completed all Kurukshetra war. He is nominated Yudhishthir Maharaj as the king. He says, I won the battle for you, but now it is time for me to go back to Mathura. That time, or Dwarka. And that time, Kunti Devi feels a lot of separation from Krishna. When she feels that separation, she starts praying to Krishna. And one of the prayers of Kunti Devi is this, where she describes the beauty of Krishna. And then Tejas Yukta. Tejas Yukta means his effulgence is so much. Krishna's effulgence is so much that, in 15.6 in Bhagavad Gita, right, he talks about how the spiritual world is. He says, Na tada basayate suryo na shashanko no pavakaha. So, yadgatva na nivartante tad dharma paramam mama. That means in my land, in spiritual land, we don't need the sun, we don't need the moon, Krishna is saying. So there is no electricity, then how is it possible that, they are getting light? Just by the presence of Krishna, it is like putting millions and millions of sun together. That is the power of Krishna. So that effulgence is so high. It is also said that the Brahma Jyoti that we all talk about, it is actually the effulgence of Krishna reaching all the way till the tip of the material world. So see, entire spiritual world is 3/4 and material world is 1/4. So effulgence of Krishna is coming all the way till the material world, means it is covering 3/4. The 3/4 of the spiritual land, his light is spread, right? That is, the Brahma Jyoti is nothing but the effulgence coming from Krishna. And also in Govardhan Leela, when Krishna lifted the Govardhan mountain for 7 days and 7 nights, there was a lot of rain outside, lot of thunder, everything. And those days there was no electricity. Under a mountain, where will you find electricity, right? It is said that Krishna's effulgence was so much that it was so well lit under the mountain, just by the presence of Krishna. It was as if it was, it is like 100 million sun rays, right? One sun we are not able to take. Imagine that light is enough for the entire earth, right? Here, and all the other planets also, not only earth, all the other planets also. In the same way, Krishna under that mountain on a very, very thunderstorm filled day or night, the light was actually coming from Krishna's body. And then also, we spoke about how Krishna wears all these ornaments and how gopis complain that those ornaments are well lit, and wherever they keep the butter pots, it is being taken away. And also we discussed in Rajasuya Yagna, other men actually look at Krishna. They don't know it is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all say, oh my God, who is this? You know, he is so good. Men usually, I also commented, men usually don't comment on other men. But here they were all jealous, or they were all feeling, oh my God, this person is so handsome. He's so good looking. Look at his tejas. Usually the tejas we talk about, it is very good, they all said. I think we stopped here, isn't it, Prabhu? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
so
I think we did complete this and then went to the next. Yes, this is the place.
Okay. So I'll quickly go through this. Baliyan, Krishna is he has a lot of strength. Baliyan means he's got a lot of strength. How do we know? He lifted the Govardhan mountain when he was 7 years old. Here, Prabhupada, this conversation. So what happens is, I don't know whether I discussed this. Prabhupada actually was working with an artist in America to make the picture of Krishna. And he had explained this Govardhan Leela to this person who was making the picture or painting the picture, right? And that person actually made like Hulk gun, or like Rambo, that person made the painting. And Prabhupada was like with full biceps and all, this painter made. Then when Prabhupada looked at it and he said, oh my God, what have you done? So he said, oh, he lifted the mountain. No, so he should be full like a He-Man, Captain America. We have all these Batman, all those things, Then Prabhupada said, no, it is a 7-year-old child. It is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So God has all the power. So when he was 7 years old, it is a little child, a tender child. Please change this photo or change this painting to make it as a small child. So that was one of the incidents, which was recollected when we spoke about Baliyan. And then in Krishna book, we were actually doing Krishna book also previously. In that it comes, first month, Krishna, delivered Putana. Second month, third month, Shaktasura. And 1 year it was Trinavarta. 2 years it is Vatsasura, then 4 years it is Bakasura, 5 years Agasura, 6 years Dhenukasura, 7 years Govardhan Leela, 12 years. 12 years he took care of Kamsa. So who can do? Which child can do? And nowadays child says Amma, Appa, ABCD, we feel joyous, right? That is the limit of a living entity. But this proves that it is Krishna himself who had come, who took care of all these. And also when I say he delivered, why I say he delivered is because all of them got a position in Goloka. Not only Goloka or Vaikuntha or any of the spiritual place. Why? Why is that? Because even when Krishna had to kill them, he had to touch them. Once Krishna touches them, all their sins goes away, the auspiciousness in their life increases, and the topmost benediction one can get in their life is to go to the spirit. And that is what happened with all these people. And also, Krishna is so Baliyan that he kept all his bala, all his paurusha, everything in the nama. All his potency is encaptured in his nama, and that's why Kali Yuga is very, very difficult, very, very difficult time, and it has all kinds of the worst of the things that could have happened in all the three yugas is happening in Kali Yuga. Right? Kali Yuga, nothing right happens, but there's only one thing good about Kali Yuga, and that is Sankirtana or the Harer Nam that we have. So Kali Yuga, when it has so much of badness in it, to ward off that badness, one Hare Krishna Mahamantra is enough. One Hare Krishna Mahamantra will deliver the person, will deliver the population, will deliver the community. It is very difficult for us to understand because we are in that state where we are covered in Maya. As we start purifying ourselves, we'll understand. See, even if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, where there are trees, where there is an ant, they will get Sukriti in the next Janma. So Haridas Thakur or any other great devotees, they used to chant loudly, not only for their benefit. Mostly it is a benefit of others that they did by chanting loudly. So the Hare Nam has lot of power, and Krishna put all that potency, what he has. That's why he is Baliyan, right? So all that potency, he put it in the name. So in Kali Yuga, people, Jivatmas, can find some peace, some solace, and go back to the spiritual world. And then there is Bilbil Mangala Thakur has actually written, I don't know what it is, what the Chaurasya it is called. It is a 72 verse song. That the first stanza of the song goes like Braje Prasiddha Chaura Navanita Chora. Okay, Janma di Janma, something comes. So the essence, I will tell you, the essence is that in Braja, in Vrindavan, we have found a new thief. Bilvamangala Thakur is saying this. We found a new thief, and this thief is stealing everybody's wealth. While he's stealing everybody's wealth, he is also stealing all the sins that we've done from many, many janmas. He not only steals your wealth, he steals your heart, he steals all the sins that you've been accumulating from many, many, many janmas. Finally, it says, he stole Srimati Radharani's heart. Srimati Radharani is the highest in perfection, in devotion, and such person's heart he stole, right? Devotion's heart he stole, right? And so Krishna also says, in Bhagavad Gita, he actually says, Balam Balavatam. That means I am the strength. You know, he says in one of the verses that I am the strength of the world. The power, wherever you see strength and power, right, it is actually coming from Krishna. We think that person is powerful, we think. If we see soldiers in a battle, we think, oh, they are holding such big armory, they are holding such weapons and, running and fighting. Where is that power coming from? It is coming from our Krishna. So this is where we had stopped. Let's go to the next one. Vayasanvita. So what is Vayasanvita? Krishna is always youthful. See, if you've never seen a Krishna's photo where he's old. Even in Goloka, it is said Krishna's age is Kishora state, right? He doesn't grow old at all. In Kurukshetra also, I think we've discussed this many times, that when he was on the chariot with Arjuna, his age was 125 years and he had many, many grandsons by then, right? But he never looked old age. And there is the table, 0 to 5 years is called Kumara, 6 to 10 is Pauganda, and 10 to 15 is Kishoravasti, and 16 is Yovan. So Krishna's age in Goloka, anytime you see, even in the real Goloka when you go, it is 15 years, 9 months, 7.5 days. So he is in his prime youth age. That's why he is Rasaraj, all kind. See, as you grow older, right? all the rasa in our life is dried up. Do you agree? Whether your enthusiasm to do things or whether your strength to do things, all that goes away. Before, if you had to go and do something physical activity, we were all so enthusiastic, but over time the same activity is like, can we go tomorrow or can we go later? This is our mindset, right, as we grow older. But Krishna is not like that. His age is always at the peak age, what we say, that is his age. And Srimati Radharani's age is 14 years 2 months and 15 days all the time. See, we all were, as you grow older, people who are young, like Tripti Raj Mathaji or any other, I don't know, that don't take me wrong here, who is young in this group or who is old, I don't know. But as we grow older, what happens? Cosmetic bill goes up. Whether you like it or not, just to be in the society, what happens is our bill goes up. We all have to use cosmetics one way or the other, not to look very great, but at least to be, pleasing to it. It shouldn't look bad. But Krishna never used any cosmetics, but still he was good looking. For example, I'll give you this. At the age of even 2022, if a person starts going to work and coming back from work, right, they're extremely tired nowadays because of the pollution, because of the drive, because of the actual work and the sweat and all the turmoil, all those things. So if there is somebody in your house, some guest has come in your house, what will you say as soon as you come back from work? You'll say, oh, did you come? Did you have some coffee? Did you sit? Did you have something to eat? You'll ask, and you'll say, let me go freshen up and come. That's the first thing, because our face is so bad. We look so tired, right? For the person, we just want to be pleasing. But Krishna, even in the battlefield, it is said that he looked very good looking. It is not through cosmetic, because Krishna's body is spiritual. Once you have a spiritual body, the gross body, it will deteriorate. That is the difference, right? The gross body deteriorates, but Krishna's body does not deteriorate, right? Avyayam. We learned that word in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita when Krishna was describing himself. Avyayam. Avyayam means deteriorate. Here, our bodies deteriorate, but Krishna's body does not deteriorate. Also, when you chant and when you start becoming a devotee, right, like our Prabhupada, the tejas it'll automatically come on your face. You don't have to do extra circus to gain respect from people. People, when they look at you, they automatically will respect you once you have that devotion. That devotion cannot be hidden sometimes. That faith cannot be, the bhakti cannot be hidden sometimes. And that's what happened to Prabhupada. Wherever he went, many universities he went and he had a lecture and everything. Considering his age and coming from India, it is not easy to come to America. Even when you speak to somebody outside your culture, you can speak about their culture, but about our culture, that too about spirituality and Krishna, how did Prabhupada convince them, right? Because when people looked at him and they spoke to him, they were able to respect him. And that comes once you become more close devotee of Krishna or a close devotee of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the greatest example to show how bhakti can attract people. The bodily features also, it will attract people. Let's go to the next one. Vividadbhuta Bhasaviti. That means Krishna could speak many languages. He was fluent in many, many languages. He was multilinguistic. Why is that? Language and knowledge came from Krishna. When knowledge and language came from Krishna, he knows everything. There is nothing Krishna doesn't know, right? And Govinda Leelamrita, it is written that Krishna used to actually talk to the birds, talk to the trees, talk to the plants, everything. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is written that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually doing the Sankirtana movement in the forest, the lions and the tigers and the elephants, all of them actually were dancing with him. They were actually trying to do, Harenam, the chanting. Krishna also is said to have spoken to the cows and the calves. He used to hug them and he used to tell them, how are you doing today? Why do you look so sad? he used to converse with them. Those cows and calves are so lucky. He spoke to them as children itself. And when he had to send a message to Srimati Radharani, it is said Kokilavana. There is a Kokilavana in Vrindavan where he used to use the birds to send the message to Srimati Radharani. Above and beyond all these things, Krishna knows what is in our heart. You don't need words. There is a saying in our thing also, right? Two people who are very close, they don't have to speak to each other. They just sit next to each other. They can hear the heart of each other. That is our Krishna. Krishna knows our heart. He knows the language of the heart. He knows the innermost desire which you cannot speak about. Krishna knows that. So Krishna can enter anybody's heart because he is Paramatma. He is residing in everybody's heart as Paramatma. He is all pervading. He is everywhere. He knows there is nothing Krishna doesn't know, and there is no reach. You cannot say that place cannot be reached, or that this one point, that person cannot be reached, because Krishna can reach everywhere, every person. He is in everybody's heart. Even Prakriti, that place cannot be reached, we say, right? It is all Krishna's. It is all Krishna's energy. So he can reach it. And that is why he can speak any language and he can speak to anybody. It is not just human beings. He can speak to animals, he can speak to the plants, he can speak to the trees, he can speak to everybody. And even without speaking, he understands what our innermost desires are. Next, we have Satyavakya. This is very, very beautiful. So what happens is, Krishna always tells the truth. He always tells the truth, and he never lies. Unless it is a benefit of somebody, right? It is a benefit of somebody. Even that is not a lie, it is actually truth only. When Ritbakshan Leela happens, right? Ishadamai, no, actually Balram goes and complains on Krishna, saying that Krishna is eating dirt. He's eating the mud of the ground. So Yashodamai comes and she says, did you eat the mud? Did you eat the mud? Maine nahi kaya. Maine, sorry, not mud, butter. He steals butter and he eats, right? So he says, no, I didn't eat. Did you eat that gopi's butter? No, I didn't eat. No, I didn't eat. The way he says is, maine makan nahi kaya. I think people who speak Hindi at home can understand that very easily. Maine hi makan kaya. Maine makan nahi kaya. It actually, he's trying to say, maine hi makan kaya, he's saying. Maine makan nahi kaya, right? So even while saying that, when it comes out of his mouth through ether, it feels as if he didn't eat it. That's what he's trying to say. But internally, maine makan nahi kaya, maine hi makan kaya, right? He's playing on the words. He's playing on those words and he's saying, I only ate. He's saying the truth. But when it comes out of his mouth, Saraswati Devi, to protect him, will change the words in the ether, and people will hear it as that he didn't eat. So Krishna is actually, even though he is going to get scoldings from his mother, he is actually telling the truth. But Saraswati Devi sitting in between will twist the words and make sure that everybody hears a different thing from what he is actually trying to say. Then he had actually the Sadhu Baba. So what happens is, usually Nanda Baba hosts sadhus at home. And these sadhus, when they will actually do their own prasadam and offer boga to Krishna or Narayana. They offer boga to Narayana. Narayana was the house god of Nanda Baba. Nanda Baba used to pray to Narayana. So what happens is, the sadhu, without giving the boga to Narayana, he will not eat the food. So he prepares the food. When he prepares the food, he calls on to Narayana and he says, Narayana, come and eat the food. He says, come and eat the food. Who is Narayana? Narayana is none other than our Krishna. Krishna is a child. So he will go and eat that food. Then the sadhu will get very, see, I am putting the boga to Narayana and this kid is spoiling everything. So he will say, okay, you've touched the food. I can't give this to Narayan. Now I have to prepare new boga. This goes on happening for 2 or 3 times in a day, that day. Till evening 10 o'clock, this Pujari or the Sadhu Baba is not able to put the prasadam to Narayan at all. And he's very angry that the child is coming and disturbing, right? And he complains to Yashoda Mai. The Sadhu Baba complains to Yashoda Mai, saying that, what kind of a kid are you growing up at home? He does not have any manners. You know, this boga is for Narayan. First Narayan the prasadam has to happen, then only he can eat. The minute I put the boga to Narayan, this kid is coming and eating and spoiling the food. Yashoda Mai will be very disappointed. She will go and tell Krishna. She'll say, see, Krishna, this is the first time in our family, you know, that our name is going away. Nanda Baba's name is going away. It is becoming bad that even we are not able to do little bit of seva even for the sadhu. Sadhu hosting, we are not able to do. Why are you doing this? I'm going to lock you in the room till the prasadam bhog has happened. You don't come out of the room. She will put him in a room and she'll say, don't come out. Then this Baba has to take bath again. It's a procedure for him to cook and do boga to Narayan. So he will go take a bath. He will get all fresh set of ingredients. He will cook everything and he will put a boga in the middle of the night around 2 a.m. in the morning. He's putting the boga to. Again, he will pray, Lord Narayana, please come and take my boga. Krishna will come and stand. And he will say, either you tell me, first you go and complain to Yashoda Mai that I'm taking the boga. After everything, you're called to take the boga. Which one do you want me to do? Unnecessarily, you're making me bad in front of Yashoda Mai. Which one do you want? You want me to taste the boga or you want me to keep quiet? This sadhu does not understand. And then Krishna actually shows his rupa to that sadhu. And he says, don't tell anybody. Don't discuss this with anybody because you've been struggling so hard the entire day. You're making boga for me. I wanted to show myself to you, he says, and he shows himself. And he says, I'm going to take your boga, but don't. So that is, see, Krishna, when you call him, right, he is so real that, you know, once he says he is submitted to the devotee, he is always talking the truth. He will always be there for you. That is Satyavakya. Where, see, if Krishna says something, he's going to do that. Boga, when he called Lord Narayana, you know, the Bhakta is calling Lord Narayana, he cannot keep quiet because he is Lord Narayana. He has to appear there, right? So that is one incident which talks about how Krishna is real, you know, how Krishna is Satyavakya. When you call out to Krishna, he definitely comes there. He never breaks his promises. He had also promised Kunti Devi that all the Pandavas will be alive after Kurukshetra. Kunti Devi actually calls Krishna and she tells, you have to take care of my children. It is your duty to take care of my children. So he had promised her nothing will happen to the Pandavas, and he actually did that. And when Krishna was about to be born, right, there is all the demigods together sing this shloka. Satyavrata Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nitisatya Evam. That means Krishna had promised when the earth, Prithvi, had gone and complained to Shiva first. Shiva will say, I cannot, what does she complain? I'm not able to take the burden of the earth. Earth is becoming very heavy because all the papis, they are doing a lot of karma and it is overburdening me. I cannot take it anymore. So she goes and complains to Shiva. Shiva says, I can't do anything. I cannot help you. Let's go to Brahma. They go to Brahma. Brahma says, I also can't do anything. And then the milk ocean. Brahma stands near the milk ocean and Purusha Sukta is chanted. When he chants the Purusha Sukta, what happens is Mahavishnu hears that. And he actually responds to Brahma. In the heart of Brahma, he says, I am going to take birth in Yadu dynasty with all my associates. With all my associates, I will appear on Prithvi and I will take care of it. He had promised. And everybody is shocked. How can Krishna be born, right? I mean, he is superpower. Why will he be born? He looks at somebody, everything will be cleared out. Why will Krishna come? They all had a doubt. And when Krishna really appeared, In that prison house that night, all the demigods start singing this hymn, right? Satyavrata, Satyaparam, Trisatya, Satyasya Yoni, Nihiti Satya, Cha Satye, Satyasya Satyam, Ritisatya Netram, Satyamakam, Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. That means to this Satya, to this God of Satya, to this personification of Satya, we are all going to surrender, right? The demigods will sing, there is nothing, there is no other absolute truth than this truth. That is Krishna. So to that truth, we are all going to surrender. That is what, it's a small baby. Actually, to that baby, they're all singing. When we think it is a baby, it's not a baby, it is actually Krishna. Krishna himself, with all full potency, he came to this Prithvi to save Prithvi. And that time, all the demigods they are very happy that Krishna kept his word, right? He did not forsake them. He kept his word. They all sing that. In Gajendra Moksha also we can see Gajendra was Indradyumna Maharaj. Maharaj was a great devotee of Narayana. He was actually chanting. Early in the morning, he gave up his kingdom, he gave up his wife, he gave up his children, brother, sister, everybody. For him, Krishna or Lord Narayana was everything. So in the morning, he went, he did his Sandhya Vandani and he was chanting. He was meditating upon Narayana. I don't know which Muni comes there. I think it was Durvas Muni. No, it was not Durvas Muni. There is some Muni who comes there. When that Muni comes, Indradyumna Maharaj will not get up and pay his respects. So he gets very angry with Indradyumna Maharaj and he gives him a curse. He says, because you are like tamas, in tamas buddhi you did not respect me, you're sitting there and doing tapasya and disrespecting me, go become an elephant. How he was sitting, Indradyumna Maharaj, he became an elephant. And he was transported to Meru Loka. Meru Loka is above our Loka. Above Prithvi is Meru Loka. It is the seventh island after Prithvi. Our earth is also, it's said it is an island only. We are not aware of it. The seventh island is the Meru Loka. And that Meru Loka is very beautiful. It is made of all, the mountains are made up of all the diamonds and the jewels. It's that kind of a mountain. What happens is Gajendra completely forgets, Indradyumna Maharaj completely forgets God, and he is actually with his many wives and many children, he is actually in the forest. At one point, what happens is they are not getting enough water or food. So they're moving from one place to another place. And then they come to a place where there is a lot of water. And how this Gajendra was, he was so big. When he walked, it is said all the mountain pieces used to crush down because of his vibration, right? When he puts a foot up, because of that vibration, mountains crumpled down, they say. And whatever came in between, see, usually when there is a tree bark or something, we just stuck ourselves and go that side, right? This elephant was not like that. It used to go directly so that tree and all breaks. He did not stop for anybody. Small animals and everything used to get crushed under his leg. Everybody in that Meru Parvata scared of this Gajendra. He was that kind of an elephant. And he finds water and he starts drinking that water. And then he starts playing in the water and he's calling his children also and his wife also, because the water is so tasty. We didn't have water for a long time. Come drink it. And he's showing off. See, I can go inside. I'm drinking the water. All that he's showing off. Then what happens? A crocodile catches his foot. Crocodile catches his foot. It is a struggle. It is said for 1,000 years. There was a battle between the elephant and the crocodile. And because the crocodile's territory, water is crocodile's territory because it can fight better in water. Elephant is very weak in water. On land, it is powerful, but it is weak in the water. In such condition, he tried a lot. All his family, all the male elephants tried to pull him out of the water, but they couldn't because the hold of the crocodile was so deep, right? And he was starting to lose blood. The crocodile was getting nourished by the elephant's blood, but the elephant himself had not any food to eat. At that time, Krishna or Mahavishnu actually reminds Gajendra of that mantra, of that prayer, which can help him in that situation. So because Krishna had promised, whoever chants my name, right, he will come in the time of death, he will come and remind them. In the same way, he comes and reminds this Gajendra, and Gajendra could not find anything. When he starts chanting those prayers, he could not find it. He had a lotus flower in that pond. He just picks up the lotus flower and he offers it to Lord Vishnu. Many people come there. Narad Muni comes there, Shiva comes there. They all will say, we will protect you. He says, no. I called out to my Vishnu, and I would rather have my Vishnu save me, right? Vishnu had given me a word that he is going to save me by chanting. He had done a lot of bhakti. Indradimna Maharaj had done a lot of bhakti in the previous Janma. So he had that trust that Krishna will save me and Mahavishnu will save me, and Mahavishnu comes on Garuda. He is actually in a different mood. Mahavishnu, he is enjoying with Lakshmi at that point. As soon as he hears Gajendra's prayers, it is said he pulled the Garuda. Usually, Krishna, Mahavishnu sits on Garuda and he comes, right? This time he was in such hurry to save his devotee that it is said he dragged Garuda. And that is the only time there is a plank or there is a towel which you put on top of Garuda to sit, and slippers. Vishnu wears slippers. It is said that was the only time where Vishnu did not put the cloth on Garuda to sit or wore slippers. That is the only one incident where Vishnu did not wear slippers. He came rushing there to save Gajendra. And Gajendra actually later feels very, very sad, because he regrets, calling out to Krishna for a material benediction. In the 3/4 of the prayer, he's asking for benediction to save him. Immediately his tone changes in the prayer and he starts regretting. He says, I don't want anything. I just want you. Gajendra is calling out to Krishna. And what happens is, I'll just complete the story, although it is just an incident, I'll just complete the story. Mahavishnu's chakra will actually hit the crocodile and the crocodile will die. The crocodile will turn out to be a Gandharva. It is also through a sharp, it would have become a Gandharva. The Gandharva will become a crocodile. And immediately what happens? The Gajendra turns into a 4-armed hyena. And Mahavishnu takes him back along with him to Vaikuntha. That is it. Now, Chitraketu Maharaj, I think we've heard it many times. We've discussed this many times. Chitraketu Maharaj is actually a great devotee, and he is touched by Angirasa Muni and Narada Muni. When he loses his child, the only child that he had, he loses his child. And at that time, he is so sorrowful. And what happens is, Narad Muni and Angirasa Muni come to his rescue and they give him a mantra. When they give him a mantra, he starts chanting that mantra, and Sankarshna appears to Chitraketu Maharaj. And he gets the benediction to go back to the spiritual world. When he gets the benediction to go back to the spiritual world, he is actually going layer after layer. He is going above. He's left Prithvi behind and he is going up. While he is going up, see, the first layer is you go out of the Prithvi. Then the Brahma Jyoti. From Brahma Jyoti, you actually go to Kailas. And then you go to Vaikuntha, then you go to Ayodhya, then you go to Dwaraka, Mathura, and then Goloka. That's the final destination. While he is going, he looks at in Kailasa, Lord Shiva is actually giving a session like this. The same thing that we are discussing, he is also giving a session to some of them. Mother Parvati is sitting on his lap, Shiva's lap. Now, Chitraketu Maharaj and Shiva have a very good understanding and bond. They know each other. So, as a joke, he makes a joke saying that, oh, what, you're having Mother Parvati on your lap while giving a session, he says. Shiva doesn't get angry because he is in that mood with Chitraketu. He knows he didn't mean it. He was just so happy to go to Goloka that he just said that, But Mother Parvati is offended. she's offended, and she actually says, even that is Krishna's Mahima only. It is not that Mother Parvati got angry with Chitraketu. It is not like that. Krishna sat on Mother Parvati's tongue and gave that curse. She says, go to hell. She says, go to Naraka. He actually circumambulates Shiva and Parvati. He bows down to them and he heads to Naraka. Mother Parvati is shocked. Actually, even Shiva is shocked. He says, how come, we gave him a curse to go to Naraka and he's so happy? Then it is said, it is all a leela for people, Baddhajivis like us to understand. Actually, there is a very beautiful shloka. I don't know how to, I haven't memorized that shloka. It says, Apavarga, either you go to the higher planetary system like Vaikunta, like Kailasa, like Ayodhya, or you go to Naraka, Patala, Sutala, Talatala. As long as I have bhakti, I don't care where I go. For a bhakta, wherever he is placed, bhakti is the only thing important for him. So here Chitraketu Maharaj is he's so much into bhakti. It doesn't matter whether you're giving him a bed of roses or a bed of thorns, as long as he's able to do his bhakti. So that is to show for Baddhajivis like us that bhakti is the only thing which is important, right? That is a higher level of understanding. Why in Satya Vakya I said that is, later on that Chitraketu Maharaj is born. After that he goes to Naraka. He is actually born. Naraka means it's not the true Naraka. He is actually born as a demon. He's born as Vritrasura. And he is in the Tamoguna. See, all the demons and all those things are under earth. And they are in a demon form. So that is Naraka only, because you're doing all bad things, right? You are in a very bad state. That is Naraka for him. So when he is in that form, he still remembers Krishna. Krishna had promised, right? Whoever does a little bit of bhakti, right? Krishna has promised that he will not forsake them, and that's how. And then Indra fights with this person, this Vritrasura. When he kills, Indra is hesitant to kill Vritrasura because Vritrasura is very powerful. And Indra is actually shocked in the next Janma when he is as Vritrasura. Indra is shocked. How come a demon is praising the Lord? Because Indra puts down his sword and he says, I can't fight you because you're so powerful. That time, Vritrasura gives the philosophy of bhakti to Indra. He says, what sword you have is actually come from Lord Narayana himself. Why are you not believing now? He gives a philosophy, and that time he starts questioning, how come a demon is so good, how come he is so powerful, how come he knows bhakti? And that time he kills him. When he kills him, he automatically goes to Vaikunta. That is another one. Jada Bharata, we all know, who was born as a Bharata Maharaj, and then he took care of a deer. When he was dying, he thought of a deer. So next Janma, he is born as a deer. And in the third Janma, he is born as Jada Bharata. That means deaf, dumb. He dull-headed person, he will behave like that because he does not want to interact with anybody. Interacting with somebody, he will feel that he will lose his bhakti. So he will behave as if he is Raghugana Maharaj will identify him as a great devotee. He says, oh, Jada Bharata, what happens is, because he's a foolish guy roaming around in forest, Raghugana Maharaj needs somebody to carry his pallaki. He would have found 3 soldiers. He needed one more person. So they pull Jada Bharata and ask him to carry the pallaki. When he's carrying the pallaki, what happens is, it is going up and down, up and down. Lot of tumults are happening when he is going. He think, how come the land is so perfect? Why is this, shaking happening? My soldiers are not doing this. This new guy who has come is the one who is doing this. He identifies him. And then when he looks at him, what Jada Bharata is doing is, ants are going in that forest. Wherever the ant is going, he doesn't stamp them. He goes that side, this side. When he is doing that, the pallaki is shaking. Then he calls him and he says, what are you doing? He says, because the ants were going, I didn't want to stamp on the ants, right? And then he recognizes him as a great devotee. He says, who are you? What are you? Then he says, this is my story. He remembers all his janmas, right? He remembers, and then he gives bhakti to Raghugana Maharaj. He wouldn't have spoken about bhakti to anybody. He only speaks to Raghugana Maharaj because he understands Raghugana Maharaj is in that plane. So what Satyavakya, Krishna said he will not forsake whoever has done even little bit of bhakti, whichever janma, even if you are a worm in a stool in the next janma, not you, me, because of all the anarthas that I am doing, even if we are a worm in that stool, right, Krishna does not forsake us. Once he has held our hand, once he has said that, he will protect us, he will always protect us. And also understand that Krishna is always trying to protect our bhakti. He does not protect our material condition, our luxury, our fame, our social status. Krishna is trying to protect our bhakti because everything in this world is equivalent to glass, right? He wants to give us diamond in spiritual world. And that's why he does not bring us up in fame or something. If he brings up in fame or wealth or social position, what happens? We forget Krishna and we are stuck in this mirror or glass world. He wants us back in the diamond world or beyond diamond. Diamond is also very less, or the spiritual loka. Let me check on time. Prabhu, do I still have time?
We can go on for another 5-10 minutes, Mathaji.
Okay, one more and then we can stop. So this is another beautiful thing. Priyambada. Priyambada means very pleasing to speak, right? Whatever situation Krishna is put in, he speaks very beautifully. He doesn't speak frustratedly. He doesn't speak with an anger, or he doesn't speak sorrowfully or revengefully. One of the great examples is Brigamani and the banks of Saraswati, right? At the bank of Saraswati, there are a lot of munis who are doing yajna. When they are doing yajna, one question arises: is Brahma great, or Shiva great, or Vishnu great, right? And then they all approach Brigamani. Brigamani is also there. They all approach Brigamani and they say, you are a more erudite scholar. So can you tell us out of the three who is the greatest, right? Brigamani, I will go and test them and I will tell you who is the best. Because the offering that they are doing of a yajna, whom should we offer it to? To the best of the gods we want to offer it to. Whom should we offer it to? So Brigamani first goes to Brahma. Brahma is actually father of Brigamani. Brahma is sitting and chanting, or he's doing something when Brigamani enters, right? He doesn't give him pranam. He's a guru. Brahma is a father also. He doesn't give, actual respect in words, pranam father, or he doesn't give respect. Actually, Brahma becomes very angry, very upset in his mind, but he doesn't say anything. He just keeps quiet. Next, he goes, that's a failure. According to Brigamani, that's a failure. Because he purposely did not give respect to see how he will react. He actually is very angry. I think he shouts at him, or he does some in the mind. He thinks of him in his mind. Oh, my son did not give respect to me. Then he goes to Shiva. Shiva is about to leave for Sanchara. He's put a lot of vibhuti on himself, right? He's put a lot of vibhuti. Brigamani goes there. Shiva comes to hug him. Oh, you've come, Brigamani says, stand there only. I have taken a bath. I am so purified. You put all the vibhuti and you are in the graveyard all the time. You're so dirty. I don't want to touch you, he says. First thing with Brahma, he did it with his mind. Second, with Shiva, he did it with words. Brigamani offended through words, right? Shiva also gets very angry and he says, what is this? What you're speaking like this? This is not correct. What kind of a person you are and all. He will scold him back. And that is a failure again because he reacted to that. Next, he goes to Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, Mahavishnu is actually in the transcendental sleep, and Lakshmi is actually pressing his leg. Brigamani enters and he did not give respect. Mahavishnu did not give him respect. A Muni comes, even though it is God, he has to say, oh, Muni, you came, Munivarya, you came, come inside. He goes and kicks him in his at his chest. when he kicks him at his chest, right? The words which come out of Mahavishnu catches his foot and he says, "Oh, Brigamuni, my heart is so hard like a rock. Your leg is so soft. Did you get hurt, my son? Did you get hurt?" His speech is so good. If somebody kicks, Lakshmi actually gets, kind of agitated, right? But Mahavishnu doesn't get agitated. In fact, he takes out the eye. It is said that Brigamuni had another eye in the leg, and he takes it out, right? But when he speaks to him, he's like, "Oh, Munivarya, your leg, are you okay? It is hurting somewhere? Can I press your leg?" And then Brigamuni declares that, Mahavishnu is the owner or the proprietor for the yaga. Whatever comes, Bhoktara of all the yagnas is Mahavishnu, he declares. So why did this example? Priyamvada, see, the situation was so bad. If it was some other, Brahma reacted very badly just by mind. In mind only he felt bad. Shiva in words he gave back. This was action. This was the worst of the, insults that a person can do, kicking in the leg, right? But Mahavishnu never reacted in a bad way. He reacted in a very soothing and calm way. That is a very beautiful insight. Say how Krishna is. He says, "Oh, my son, did you get hurt? Did you get hurt?" He says. Another incident is Kalya. When Kalya Nartan happened, right? Kalya, 1,000 heads of Kalya, Krishna kept stamping. Every hood that Kalya raised, Krishna kept stamping him, right? He says at the end of it, Krishna goes and asks Kalya, "Are you hurt, my son? Is your head hurting? I stamped on your head." But Kalya actually, in the beginning of the Leela, what happens is Kalya rolls Krishna and he's twisting him. He wants to kill him, right? But what did I tell you? The minute somebody touches Krishna, all their anarthas are gone, right? Halfway through that twist, Kalya falls in love with Krishna, right? But that ego is so much that he still wants to kill him, right? And that is when Krishna stamps his leg. But at the end of it, he says, "Oh, my son, did I hurt your head? Because I stamped, I'm so powerful, I must have hit you, right? Don't worry, it'll all be okay." Putana came to give milk which was poisoned to Krishna. Krishna, Aho Baki, there is a shloka for that also. Sanakala Kutam. She came with a very, very bad desire, and Krishna raised her to a mother, Datri. Datri means mother in the Goloka. He gave a nursing. There are 7 different kinds of mother, right? One of the mother is a person who actually takes care of you as in nursing or babysitting nowadays, what we call, right? That sthana he gave to Putana. Shishupala did so much against Krishna, right? He was so envious, and nobody could say such things. Looking at Krishna, you can't say once, twice, okay. 100 times he insulted Krishna. Still, Krishna gave him Sayujya Mukti. He actually gave Shishupal Sayujya Mukti because everybody is Krishna's children, right? And Krishna, see, for us, early morning when we have chanted very well, we've attended class, we're all nice to our children, our spouses. We are in that loka, right? We are in that spiritual realm here. By afternoon, some work is not over, some tension in the house, our mind has changed already. By evening, you're so tired. But Krishna is not like that. It is said Krishna is like Rasagulla. Krishna and his mercy and his words is Rasagulla. You take it in the morning, Rasagulla doesn't change taste. You take it in the afternoon, the taste doesn't change. You take it in the evening, it doesn't change. You put it in the fridge and eat, it doesn't change. You make it hot and eat, it doesn't change, right? So Rasagulla is always a Rasagulla in whatever state, whatever time of the day you take it. And that is Krishna, Priyamvada, whatever situation. And that's why we are also so much, the attraction for Krishna. Once you come into Krishna consciousness, it's so much. Little bit of bhakti, if you do also, we all get attracted to Krishna. The attraction is because our situation in life is so bad, but when we reach out to Krishna, right, that bliss that we have is amazing, because the reciprocation that we get from Krishna, it will calm us down. It will take us out of that misery. It will take us out of that situation. And that's why Krishna is like Rasgulla. Next time when we're eating Rasgulla, we should think Krishna is Priyamvada. His thought is Priyamvada. His speech is Priyamvada. Very beautiful to look. He is Balyan. He is Satyavrata. All these things, why I try to do to every class. In Kannada also, I did the same thing. In English also, I'm doing the same thing. The reason I'm doing it is, it becomes easy for Smarana. Right? Whenever you are interacting in the day-to-day activity, these things should keep coming to the mind. The story should keep coming to the mind. Then what happens is the Smarana becomes easy for you. Always chanting, we don't have ruchi in chanting. We don't have ruchi in reading the books also. So these qualities, it should just ring a bell. Whenever you see your child, it should ring a bell. And that's why I was trying to take this topic and go through this. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Prabhu, is it time?
Yes, Mathaji. So we are at 7:13, Mathaji.
Okay. I would like to stop here then. I think we can take it. How many is over? 16 are over. I actually have 32. We'll try to see in the next couple of classes or one more class. I'll try to complete as much as possible.
Yes, Mathaji, sure, we can do that. And in fact, as always, so blissful to hear about Krishna's quality, and from you especially, with the right examples, making sure that you are not leaving anything missed, Mathaji, for all of us. You did recap on previous qualities also. I think that is a great thing. So now for new